Welcome back. Today we are joined by Colton Saunders with Edward Jones for our financial focus today, looking for different ways to borrow and use credit. Colton, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Mary Grace. Thanks for having me.
Great to be speaking with you. So, like many Americans, we take on debt here and there. If you're like me, you are in debt. It's part of the process. But we're talking about managing debt wisely. That allows you to improve your savings and spending habits, and it helps us invest for the future. And so part of that is borrowing and using credit. Colton, I know credit cards are a way to do that, but I want to dive into some other topics here. Besides credit cards, what are some common options available for borrowing and using credit?
Of course. So yeah, there's many different ways to borrow and use credit. Common ones that I would like to mention. So home equity loans or home equity lines of credit. As the name suggests, this is basically a way to tap into the equity that you have in your home, and it could be considerable. If you've lived there for many years and you've paid down on your mortgage, this is one way to have access to some cash. A lot of times, these lines of credit can be accessed fairly easily, usually lower loan cost, and there's not as much of a underwriting process and things like that you normally have to go through to get a normal mortgage or loan. And so normally it can be fairly quick, and it's handy if you are kind of in a pinch and need quick access to some cash. This is generally a good way to do that. Another line of credit that we turn to every once in a while is called securities-based lending. So it's similar to like a securities-based loan or a margin loan. It basically lets you borrow against the value of your investments like stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, and it's not very complex. It's pretty easy. We do them here every once in a while. When you're making payments, you're basically just paying yourself back, which can be really handy. A lot of times there's not a repayment schedule, so they're fairly flexible. The only thing about this I'll mention is use this with caution. If the stock market and the value of your investments were to go down sharply, it could require you to start adding money back to your account before you maybe have the funds available. And if you don't, then you could be forced to sell investments early, which is never, something that we want to have to do. So, lots of good information, many different tools, but again, be wary of, what could go wrong and making sure to use caution.
Absolutely. And just real quick, when we're weighing our borrowing and credit options, what are just a couple factors we want to use to evaluate those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, look at, what you're borrowing against, your cash flow, things like that to make sure that it's not going to get you into trouble. And again, you have the cash flow to fulfill. If there are mandatory payments, make sure you can, satisfy those as well. So those are a few things I would make sure to look out for, and also talk to your financial advisor, talk to your other professionals or advisors that you have in your corner to make sure that they think it's a good idea as well.
Excellent. You and Edward Jones are some of those financial advisors in our area. How can we reach out to you about this or making sure we're meeting our financial goals?
Sure, you can give our office a call. We're, of course, here in St. Joe on the North Belt. 816-232-1205 is our phone number, or hop online, edwardjones.com. We'll be happy to help out.
Awesome. Sounds good. Again, Colton Saunders with Edward Jones. Colton, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Mary Grace.